Hi, it's Kylie Coo. Welcome to my studio. So today I'm doing the January Mission Inspiration for the Mike Deakin Mission Inspiration Facebook group. So I'm working in my small Ranger Dilutions journal again, and I've prepared the page with some gesso. And the first step is to glue torn fragments of junk mail. So all I've done is to take a junk mail envelope and I'm going to glue that down. And just using some Mod Podge to glue this in place, and then I'll use an old gift card to actually ensure that the paper is down as close to the main page as possible, just to make sure that it's fully adhered. And giving that a quick dry before I go on to the next step. And step 2 is to add strips of ribbon or trim. So I have that butterfly ribbon left over from a previous project. I didn't have much left, and the other ribbon I think came wrapped around a Christmas gift. I think it was pyjamas, so I saved the ribbon. So Mike's taking a slightly different approach to the prompts this year. There's 8 prompts, but he's also giving a suggested colour scheme and some suggested words to use. Now here, where I want the piece of ribbon to cross over the 2 pages, I'm just cutting it in half so that it doesn't cause too much bulk right at the centre of the page. And again, I'm just going to glue these into place with some Mod Podge, and then I will also use the gift card again just to ensure that they're fully adhered down. So another quick dry, and then step 3 is to cover with gesso or paint. So I decided at this stage I would use the 3 colours suggested by Mike. So it's a kind of dark blue, a light blue, and I've used periwinkle, which is the same as the one that Mike used, and a yellow, and I'm just using a medium yellow here, and I'm just using my fingers to actually apply the paint. Now when I remember, I do actually use a kind of barrier type cream. Some paints can be toxic. I'm not saying these ones are by any means, but some can, and because I use my fingers a lot to paint, I have started to use, it's like a kind of liquid gloves type thing. I just use a cream, and it should help stop the skin absorbing any toxins. So just going on to the second of the 2 colours, I did dry the yellow off very quickly just to try and ensure that there was no mixing of colours on the page. Sometimes I like to mix colours on the page, but here I was trying to keep the yellow yellow. And I just keep playing with that, adding where I think it needs it. And in a second I'll come in with the dark blue, and again just adding where I think it will look best. And it's covering up some bits of the paper and the ribbon, but it's still possible to see those things through it. And this is the type of thing I just keep going until I feel that it's at the place that I want it to be. So a quick dry again before I go on to step 4, which is to add secret journaling. I will sometimes start a page off by doing secret journaling, and I do it in letters or writing that's not terribly clear. But I know that I'm going to cover it up in the next step, which is step 5, which is to add a focal point or image. And I've decided to use this butterfly. Now I'm just looking here at where I want to place it, and I've decided that, again, I'm going to cut it. Sometimes I just glue things right over the 2 pages, but they can start to buckle a bit and cause a bit of problem. Sometimes you get a slight gap here as well by cutting it in half, but you know, as with all these things, I don't worry too much about them. So I've glued that in place, and all I'm doing now is to take off the excess Mod Podge. The image is glossy, and I don't want any Mod Podge sticking in places on it. So step 6 is to add drips or splatter. So I've just decided to use some black and some white just to give a bit of contrast with the other colours on the page. And just putting some splatter on with both colours. Step 7 is to make marks with paint or ink, and I'm just using this very small cap to use the black paint and put it down. Now that first one was a bit splodgy, so all I'm doing is taking that off with a baby wipe. And then I go back to making the marks. So I also decide to use the, gosh, I always forget the name of something. That tool anyway, to make some lines, but it's not doing what I want it to do, and so I just take the gift card again and put the lines on. And step 8 is to add a frame or border. So I just do a very loose kind of squiggly loopy border just with a black pen. And then I take a white pen and just fill in some of the loops. So I've enjoyed this different approach that Mike's brought in this year with the suggested colour scheme and the words. It's just a little bit different to before, same basic principles, but yeah, just with an added twist this year, so really very much enjoyed it. And I'm also really pleased with the way that the page is turning out. And the only thing I have to do now is to add in one of the suggested words that Mike gave. So I'm going to use some stays on for this. I've got my word, I've secured it together with an elastic band. I used that technique recently and it works quite well, so long as you've got all the letters. Just doing a test stamp of that before I use it. Pressing down quite firmly. And there we have hope. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create this page, and hope it maybe inspires you to do something as well. So I hope you'll join me again for future videos, and meantime, thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.